Welcome to the Power Play Are You Ready to Get the Power lesson series. This curriculum was developed by the California Department of Public Health and the Champions for Change campaign. Each lesson, we'll be learning about the importance of eating healthy and being physically active. Lesson 1. Power Survey. Today, students will work in groups to conduct a survey of their peers about their eating and physical activity habits and attitudes. Before we get to today's activity, let's go over some basic health information, starting with what is a fruit? A fruit is something that grows on a tree or bush which contains a seed or pit. And unlike a fruit, vegetables do not contain seeds. A vegetable is any edible part of a plant. For example, lettuce and spinach are the leaves of a plant, while potatoes and turnips are the roots of a plant. So, what about tomatoes, bell peppers, and green beans? Would these be considered fruits or vegetables? Well, since these all contain seeds, they are actually fruits, according to a botanist, a scientist who studies plants. But if you were to ask a chef, they would consider these three foods vegetables because of their use in dishes. In addition to eating healthy, it's important to exercise regularly. Physical activity is any movement of the body that uses energy and gets your heart pumping, like walking, gardening, playing sports, and dancing. So, how much do we need when it comes to fruits and vegetables and physical activity? We should be getting 3 to 5 cups of fruits and vegetables every day. To give you an idea of how much this is, a cup would be about 1 medium-sized apple, or a handful of baby carrots, or 1 small sweet potato. And for physical activity, we should be getting 60 minutes of moderate intensity activity every day, such as biking or gardening, or any activity that gets your heart pumping. Now for today's activity, Power Survey. Students will work in groups of 4 to 6 to conduct surveys within those groups. Each group will receive a handout with different questions asking about health habits. Designate one person in the group as a surveyor, who will be asking the questions, and one person as the recorder, who will be keeping track of answers. The job of the surveyor is to ask students in their groups questions from the handout. For example, the surveyor may ask, "Did you try a new fruit or vegetable last month?" And group members will give their answers, which may be yes or no. The job of the recorder then is to write down the number of yes responses on the handout for the question the surveyor asked. So, if there were 2 yes answers and 1 no answer to the question, "Did you try a new fruit or vegetable last month?" the recorder should write down the number 2 in that block on the handout. Once your group has finished asking all the questions and recorded the yes answers on the handout, on the back of the paper make a chart of the answers. Today you'll be making a bar graph. The bottom line or horizontal axis should be numbered 1 to 9 for each of the questions from the handout. On the line that runs up and down, the vertical axis, it should have the number of group members and will be used to keep track of the yes answers to each of the questions. So, if we were to use the example answers to the question on the screen, this is how we would graph it with the bars. For example, for question 1 on the handout, we had 2 yes answers. So on the graph, we would make a bar that goes up to the 2 on the vertical axis for number 1 on the horizontal axis. Finally, if there is time left in the class, discuss the results of your graph within your group once you have finished it. For instance, according to the graph, were most of us physically active during our last recess? Why or why not? Now, please get into groups of 4 to 6 and work together on the handout. Please pause the video here to allow time for this activity. Thank you for joining us for today's lesson. See you next time.